Hi, this is Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership, the real realtor. Because I'm going to keep it real, and today I'm finally talking about Naca. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified of when new videos come out every Wednesday. And we're going to talk about Naca. And I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Is it really too good to be true? So many people ask me about this program, and I wanted to do this video, but I wanted to wait until I was able to attend the webinar that they give. And the first webinar of 2020 was yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind, and I want to give you some perspective if you're thinking about doing a Naca mortgage. So Naca stands for Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. So they're a nonprofit organization that provides mortgages. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer. You can't own a home currently. Like when you apply to the program, you can't own a home. So they don't want you to be an investor that's trying to get an additional home. It doesn't have to be your first home, but currently you can't own a home. So let me give you the 8 highlights of the program. What makes it so good, almost too good to be true. So number 1, there's no down payment. Number 2, there's no closing costs. Number 3, there are no fees or points that they charge for this mortgage. Number 3, they give you a below market interest rate. At the time of the webinar, it was 3.25% or 3.375%, and those are really good rates. Also, the credit score, so this is number 5, the credit score is not considered. Okay, so they don't consider your score. However, through the process, they're going to pull your credit to make sure you're paying your bills on time. Now, they didn't say during the webinar how long you had to be paying your bills on time, but they don't look at your score, but they look at how you're paying your bills. So I guess if you had some old things on your credit, it may not affect you as much. They're really looking at, so there's no minimum credit score, but they will look to see if you're paying everything on time and everything's in repayment and you don't have any serious delinquencies on your credit. All right. Also, number 6, you can buy down your interest rate. And that's something, basically you pay extra. So say it's 3.25 and you want to pay more money to try to get the interest rate lower. You can do that. It's called buying down your rate. Number 7, you can do a rehab loan with a Naca mortgage. You can do a rehab loan. You can do a full gut rehab and finance that, okay, as long as you plan on living in it. And then lastly, number 8, there are no income limits. So those are all the great things about a Naca mortgage. Now, with it being so great, why isn't everybody doing it? Everybody should have a Naca mortgage. After the webinar, I was saying I should have a Naca mortgage. So here's the thing that makes it a little bit too good to be true. The first part is there are 10 steps. So you have to do 10 steps in order to get to the point where they give you a pre-qualification letter or a mortgage approval letter for the mortgage that they're offering that has all those great things with it. So it's a lot of steps, and not everybody makes it through to the other side. Okay, so most people at some point, they're going to drop off because there's so many different requirements that you have to do. So the first step to get started, and I'm not going to go over all 10, but the first step to get started is to attend a Naca workshop. You have to attend a Naca workshop, and I'm going to post everything in the comments, or not the comments, in the description, and you'll be able to find everything that I'm talking about. You'll be able to find in the comments. So that's the first thing. There's a lot of different steps that you have to go through in order to get qualified and get the mortgage approval letter. You have to meet with a counselor. They go over your budget. You have to volunteer. Everybody in your house has to be registered to vote. They talked about getting other people registered to vote. There are a lot of different things, like hoops, you have to jump through to get it done. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to tell you, because I talked to a realtor on my team, and she told me, a little bit from her perspective that it's closed 3 Naca loans in 2019. So I'm going to tell you about that. But I just want to tell you, that's number 1. There are a lot of steps. So if you're trying to get a home quickly, this may not be the best thing for you. So because you have to go through all of those steps. Now, during the webinar, they did say that it could take 30 days, it could take 45 days to get through it, but typically what I'm hearing, it takes much longer than that. I've heard people that says it takes 3 months, it takes 6 months. I think it's based on your motivation, your organization, and how quickly you check their boxes and get all of the things done that they want you to get done. So just be mindful of their 10 steps. It includes counseling, volunteering, voter registration, but the first step of the 10 is attending a Naca workshop. At that workshop, you get a Naca ID, and then that ID number, you kind of use it every time you're doing all the requirements, and it kind of follows you. So you have to attend a live. So the webinar was just informational, but to get really started, you have to attend. Step 1 is to attend the workshop. So I think most people kind of shy away from it because it's so involved to get past the steps. But the reward on the other side is significant. So some people also push through. So some people don't make it, and some people push through and get through all the 10 steps. So it's a very lengthy process. It could be lengthy, okay? So it could be lengthy because you have to, again, check off all those 10 things, okay? Now, one thing you have to be mindful of, and I think this is the big one with Naca, and why maybe people give up, maybe it's a lengthy process, or maybe people give up, you have to consider the seller. So say you go through the complete process and you get the Naca mortgage approval letter, you're ready to buy, there is not a positive in the real estate community. There's not a positive feeling among real estate agents, realtors about Naca for the most part, okay? Because they know it takes a long time to get the deal closed, usually. Because you have to have a Naca inspector inspect the house. And it's not like a traditional bank that you're going with where everything moves really quickly. Some people get stuck with the counselor or stuck with the mortgage underwriter, and it doesn't go as fast. And that's been a lot of realtors' experiences. So when you put your offer in and you have to submit a loan approval or proof of funds, proof of approval, so you're submitting your Naca approval letter to the seller with your offer, and they're saying, Naca, I'm not, I don't want to be bothered. Or their realtor will tell them maybe if they don't have any other offers, then they may consider it. But if they have other offers and they have a Naca offer and a traditional bank's offer, they're more than likely going to go with the traditional bank over the Naca just based on past experiences that other realtors have had. So you can search on YouTube yourself and put Naca, and you'll see these stories of agents and what they had to go through to get their buyers through the process after they, through the buying process. Because again, the house has to be almost close to perfect for Naca to approve it to be sold. That's what I've heard. I have never closed a Naca mortgage because in my real estate history, people say shy away from it because it's so much to do and that sort of thing. That's why I wanted to make sure I did 2 things. Number 1, I went to the webinar. Number 2, I talked to an agent that has closed 3 of them. So people are closing with them. So that's, a good thing. So you have to think about the seller and what position it puts you in as a buyer that you may not be able to close as quickly as other buyers can. Because traditionally you can close, within 30 days. If you have all of your, everything together, you can close within 30 days. So let me give you the perspective. I'm not going to take you long. I'm not going to hold you long. But I'm going to give you the perspective of the agent that has closed 3 of them. She said it's a great program for the buyer. But the seller, she has to really work hard to keep the deal together because oftentimes the seller wants to terminate because you have to keep it extending. So originally you might put it in for 30 or 45 days to close, and then something happens, Naca is holding the file, the Naca inspector finds something that has to be fixed and they have to come back out. That process get some of the sellers wary and they want to terminate the deal based on, you missing your closing date or wanting multiple extensions. So she says she's had a client that, was very organized, got through the Naca process in 30 days. She's had other clients that have gone through the process in 6 months. And so she said she's never had just like a smooth Naca closing. There's always been something where she has to hold the deal together and get the seller through the process to hold on and to keep the house for her buyer. So that's her perspective, but people are closing Naca loans. So that's why I gave it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. If you have the time to dedicate to the Naca process and you're willing to be patient and all of that, it may be worth it for you to use Naca. I recommended it for somebody who was renting a house and they were going to buy the house that they were currently renting. So they have a seller that's already going to work with them, and then they could, do that process because they already know the house they're going to buy. So I would recommend it for people that are not in a rush. They have a lot of time and they just need to be mindful. You may not get, if there are some houses, you may miss out on a few because you're going through the Naca process. But it may be worth it to some people. It may be worth it to do it. But you cannot be in a rush if you want. You can't say, I want to move in 2 months and go through the Naca process, in my opinion. Okay? So you have to see for yourself. If somebody has done Naca and they've been successful with it, or if you haven't been successful with it, put it in the comments so you can help other people. And if you have any questions, definitely, I suggest you take the webinar. If you have any general questions, you need help with Naca, like maybe you're Naca approved already, you need some help, I do have an agent on my team that specializes in Naca. So again, thumbs up, thumbs down. You need to be knowledgeable about it and see if this is the route you want to take. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.